topic is referees. I don't think anyone here, you've lived under a rock if you didn't know that the entire referee pool in all sports is struggling right now. It doesn't matter what sport it is, there's a referee shortage. And everyone's trying to figure out why that's the case. They're all, of course, everybody wants to blame it on the pandemic, and maybe the pandemic does have some influence over it. But your Indiana soccer staff has figured out, well, or taken the attitude, it doesn't matter what's happened in the past, we have to address the issue. And so I'm privileged to be able to introduce you to Steve Franklin and George Perry. Many of you know them by name and who they are. Steve is our Director of Education. George is our Director over Competition, and he's also the Commissioner of the Indiana Soccer League, both of whom are professional educators. And we're looking at addressing the issue through education. And so with that being said, I'll turn the meeting over to George and Steve. And guys, thank you for being here. And I'll also say they'll have to exit a little early for this session because they're both doing the presentations on the awards starting at noon. So guys, floor is yours.
Thanks, Dave. George is going to handle this. He's the wizard with it. I'm the one that's going to jump off early, but George will be here through duration. He can answer questions. We just went through this with our DOC group, and it was very well received. So George, go for it. Do your magic.
Very good. Dave, am I able to share my screen? I think I am.
I think so. I think so.
I should have our website up on there right now.
Yes.
Right. Great. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for being on. And that last conversation that I just got in was very informative, Dave. That was a good one. So anyways, on our website, you can see over here on the upper left side where it says referees, that's a new tab that we've added to our website. And it's a little bit different than the one that's up on the very top that says referees, because that one on the very top takes you to the State Referee Association website, which is where we're going to take you to eventually as well. But this is for everything kind of through Indiana Soccer. And what we've done is we've created this new referee homepage of which you can get to, again, here, the full certification process that's on the State Referee Association webpage and stuff like that. And then the pieces that are kind of being administrated by Indiana Soccer in cooperation with the Indiana Referee Association. None of this stuff is done separately. It's done in cooperation. About a year and a half ago, we implemented a small-sided referee certification, of which this is only for the state of Indiana and only for our certified events, or things that we are sponsoring, whether it's tournaments, league play, whatever it might be. And it's just for the small-sided games. And you can see there's kind of a page here on the details of that. The small-sided course it's about a 2.5 hour time of in-person course work done by the individual. That includes about a little over an hour of webinars about how to be a referee, how to be an assistant referee, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's also a laws test. And the laws test, the individuals have to pass 100% before they can become certified. They can keep retaking that test as often as they need to in that situation. In order to get there, we need somebody to host a course, and we need you to host the course. We are asking that every club in our association host a minimum of one small-sided referee course per year. Ideally, it'd be one prior to every season. And certainly for some of you, it might even be better to kind of partner up and do that together, so that 2 clubs, 3 clubs maybe come together and try to host 1 or 2 for themselves. In order to do that, you go to that button that says reserve a date for a course. And it's going to take you to this calendar. Right now, we have the calendar out for February and March for right now. So we wanted to get this up and going as soon as possible. And you can see the dates that you can reserve a course. All right. Midweek, the courses go from like 6 to 9. Weekends, there's time slots that you can sign up for and get it going from there. With the And again, that's all just by clicking on this reserve a date for a course. Once you have reserved a date for a course, we will then create the registration tab for it. And you can see we already have 2 courses that we've got lined up right now, one for March 5th in Batesville and one for March 27th in Union County over in Liberty, Indiana. And we'll be out there, and that's and so the individual just clicks on here, and then it takes them to all the information they need to do all the work prior to attending the in-person part of the course. Okay, inside this, once they've got themselves registered, it'll give them the links to the videos, it'll give them a link to the test, and everything will be done according to that. All individuals that take these courses have to do the safe sport. All individuals have to do the concussion awareness program. And then those that are 18 and over have to have background checks done. Everything has to be filled with that. Dave, Angel, and I were just talking about that the other day. We may be waiting on the background checks until they've actually completed the in-person portion of the course, since there is a fee to us, so that we're paying that fee just for the individuals that completed the course. But that's open for conversation with all of that. So anyways, as we go back to this, the in-person portion of it, in order to host a course, you need to have a classroom, and you need to have a field and or a gymnasium or a turf space, whatever you might have. And obviously a lot of that depends on the time of year, right? Or where you're going to do some things. We can, and we have done in the past, we've done the classroom session outside. I've done it in Richmond underneath 2 tents that I put together in case the weather got bad and my computer wouldn't get burned out by the rain. We can set up tables and chairs in a gym floor if we only have the one space. Possibly, churches have gyms sometimes, or a boys and girls club or things like that, that maybe classrooms might not be available. But all we have to do with that is just kind of reach out to me and or Steve, and we can work through all of those challenges with that part. The in-person portion is an hour and a half of in-class. We review the laws test. We go through all the modifications to the small-sided game that exist, and then we take them outside or to the gym, and we go through the mechanics of being an AR, how to use the flag, what hand is the flag supposed to be in, what is the signals for a goal kick, for corner kick, for offside, et cetera, et cetera. And then we actually have them have a game. And that's where it'll all depend on whether or not how many referees we have that have signed up to take this course. If there are 12 or more in the course, we do not need to get extra players, because we can have a 4v4 or 5v5 game out of the people that have signed up to take the course. If we only have 5 people, then we need you to get at least 8 to 10 people that'll come for the hour and a half portion of the field session, so that way we can actually have to play a game, and then we can have the others that are actually taking the course rotate between the center and the AR positions, and they can get some mentoring along that piece of it, and we go from there. Are there any questions on the small-sided referee program offhand? I'm just going to stop share for a second just so I can see if there's something that comes up and everything.
Not a question, but a comment. The push for small-sided was this: the Federation is focused on the 11v11 game. And so referees, if you go get referee training and you get it directly from the Federation, and you follow their curriculum and you use their slide deck, it's focused on the 11v11 game. And yet when someone goes to referee a small-sided game, the rules are different. The way you approach the game is different. And yet that referee has never been exposed to those differences and how to referee a game that have those differences. And so what George showed you is that we have an Indiana soccer badge that we provide to anyone who takes this course. And so now they're going to be authorized to referee any small-sided game in the state of Indiana. So it's one way to get a young referee or even an adult referee to get your feet wet in the small-sided game before we dump you into the deep end of the pool and force you to start doing an 11v11 game. And also tailor the course to the rules and the environment that you'll be refereeing if in fact you're focused on the small-sided game. One other piece is the way the referee community is structured, FIFA it taps U.S. Soccer as the governing body in the United States to manage the referees. All referee fees and so forth go through U.S. Soccer when you're taking an 11v11 full-sided referee instruction course. That's a little bit clumsy for us on the small-sided, which is another reason we did the small-sided. But in order to comply with that structure of U.S. Soccer, we have a state referee administrator who reports directly to U.S. Soccer, and through FIFA to FIFA. We have a great working relationship with our SRA. And so, as George said, all of what we're doing that is kind of running parallel to the federation's referee system is being done in conjunction with our SRA. And the SRA has a state referee committee that he uses to support his efforts. So just to give you a little background about how we're approaching this, we just felt like because of the referee shortage, because of the what I would call failure of the federation to address the small-sided game referee needs, Indiana Soccer, and in particular, George Perry and Steve Franklin, have designed these courses to allow someone, again, to wade into the pool in the shallow end, get knee deep before they're thrown into that 11v11 game. And hopefully that wading into the pool first will allow us to retain referees, because we know that there's a turnover with players. The turnover with referees is a whole lot more significant than it is with players.
Understand that, you know, when you take these courses, and we've done maybe 3 of them, no, I've done 4 of them so far in different parts of the state. We are certainly encouraging these people to go into recreation programs to begin with, so they can start and gain some confidence. That we're hoping that the local assigner with the referees in their area, the experienced referees in their areas, will provide mentorship for these people as well. That when they assign games, that they assign someone who understands, who has some experience refereeing, either as the AR or the center, so they can, you know, support the person that's in the middle, or support the AR and educate them on what's happening along those lines. But we certainly need to do a lot of education with our clubs and our families that, you know, you don't yell at a novice field player for missing a pass or not controlling the ball properly. You certainly don't do the same thing for a new referee. And I don't care what the age is. That could be somebody as ancient as Mike Williams that I'm seeing in the picture right next to me on the screen here. Or it could be, you know, someone as young as Steve Franklin, you know, so it goes from there. But you still, it's really not about the age, it's about the experience that the people have to get. So we also need to provide a lot of mentoring, and we will be working with that through ISL. We have a number of locations where we're going to have numerous games going on at the same time or same date, and we're going to be bringing mentors into that area to hopefully work with some of these new referees and help bring them along in a positive way. So we work with that. I know Dave's got a partnership. Or Indiana Soccer is a partnership with Ball State. I don't know if that's already been discussed, Dave, but about, you know, what things clubs might be able to do. Sky, Eddie Bryce, Steve and I both spoke with her at the convention this year, and we're looking at a partnership with her company about catching them doing it right for the most part. Instead of going out and really identifying and going after the people who are doing it wrong, let's find the people who are doing it right, support them, give them all the support we give them, and maybe with their help, we can help modify behavior of the individuals that are making it a challenging situation for everyone involved and stuff like that. And again, our Indiana policy for, I think, about 3 years right now is what we do ask referees not to have a corrective dialogue with spectators, that if there are issues happening at the game, it is the role and responsibility of the club to take care of that. So we ask the referee to stop the game, go over, address the coaches, and let the coaches or manager address the spectators as needed. We don't want a young, especially a young, 12-year-old who might be intimidated by somebody my size who's yelling and screaming at him to then never want to come back and do another game. And so it's the club's responsibility to take on all of that piece. And again, even though some of the teams, like at the scheduling meetings that we had for 17, 18s, and 19s, we just said, it's important that your club do this for small-sided, because right now, sometimes we're taking a referee, an AR, off of a full-sided game So that way we can at least get one referee at a small sided game. And, it helps, it's going to benefit everybody, this program to happen. So again, please look at the calendar. Steve and I will work to add more dates. Our goal, our wish, our dream is that there's so much need that we're going to have to solicit another dozen people that can help us instruct all the in-person courses that are coming up. That's just too much of a demand for us to take care of. But we'll certainly be overseeing that and working with the clubs on how that can happen. But go ahead, someone.
Well, George, you'd mentioned that you'd like to have each club host at least one and more frequently, maybe two small-sided referee courses per season. But we've also talked about the Guardian program, which is what we're labeling the Club AR, the assistant referee. You talked about that, but what's your expectations from the teams as it relates to the number of folks that you want to be guardians when they're available on the sideline?
Well, all in all, just FYI, for certified, whether it's fully certified or small-sided certified, you should have a minimum of 2 referees for every team that you have in your club, whether that's recreation or travel. But in the situation where we come to games and we do not have a full complement of referees, it's supposed to be a 3 referee assigned crew, and there's only 2 that show up, or even 1 that shows up. Obviously, you have to have a center referee, and that has to be a licensed, certified person, whether, again, fully certified or small-sided certified. But when not, what's been happening with us as of late is that we just go typically to the home team, say, okay, so we're missing an AR, you need to provide a club AR. Well, Steve's put together this program called the Guardian of the Game program, and it's basically Club AR, Guardian of the Game, making sure that the game goes well for everybody. And what it is it's basically a 13-minute webinar and a 10 question quiz. Again,
George,
Steve, yes.
Would you like to pull that up on the screen so they can see it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I pulled it up already. Thank you.
And while you do that, we have a hand raised from CU19.
David Ungaro, Boilers FC.
Yes, sir.
I'm texting with Alistair right now. We had a question about hosting the small-sided certification. If we're picking a date like March 12th and we know Indiana weather, if like we can't do that date because of weather and need to pick a second one, should we put both of them on? Or should we just request like the March 12th, and then if the weather doesn't permit, we go from there and try to get another one?
Well, it would be nice, very nice, if you're picking something in March that you probably have a gym that you could use or an indoor space that you can use. Is there any elementary school, middle school, high school that you'd be able to use? I mean, that's right now what we're using for some of these places. I know some communities, their churches have a gymnasium that they might be able to use possibly. We'd certainly like to not take up the time or, take time away from another club who would like that second date if you're not going to be hosting it twice.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Give me a call, reach out to me. I'll be happy to, work it out with you guys. But let's see if we can't find a gym and make that happen.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.